Greetings and welcome to the 26th episode of Oblivion House Mod Hunters. As always, I'm your host, Elf Guy, and today we have another 3 house mods from around the realms of Cyrodiil for your viewing pleasure. And this time around, we actually have a bit of a waterfront theme going on, whether they're homes along the scenic Gold Coast, or down in the Topple Bay, along the Imperial City Island, or along the Nibbin. All of today's homes have waterfront views. And anyway, as always, you'll find the download links for all the mods shown in today's episode down in the video description below. So let's go ahead and get started with our popular house mod of the week, which this time around is Azure Palace by Narethin. And this is quite simply a massive and beautiful estate along the Gold Coast north of Anvil, providing a large palace right on the water and divided off into several sections with shrines, gardens, watchtowers, and even some docks, with ships surrounding the main palace in the center here. And it's sort of a ring-shaped design, with lots of that classic Imperial City architecture, and to say the least, this is a grand and epic-looking abode that's, without question, the largest house mod that we'll be looking at today. This definitely isn't a home for the more humble and, quaint-minded. This is a palace for kings and emperors, or, barring that, adventurers who want some fancy digs to call their own. Now, the exterior of this palace is really fairly massive, so we're going to be spending quite a bit of time just flying around the property here. And it really is a truly beautiful place. You'll find 2 main sets of gardens on either side of the main palace, with small bridges and islands of gardens all surrounded by shallow waters. It's just such a scenic place. You can just imagine taking a stroll through here during the evening hours, admiring the sunset over the sea as the breeze gently moves the trees back and forth. But aside from gardens, there's a number of walkways that span outwards from the central palace and connect a number of docks and watchtowers, including a couple of ships that are docked here. And it should be noted that the watchtowers all teleport you to the top of their respective towers, so you can take in the surrounding views, which is a great way to admire your new palace or just, look out into the sea. And anyway, just moving over to the other side of the palace, here you can see the second set of gardens, which are fairly elaborate, including waterfalls, statues, aeolid crystals, and much more, but are nonetheless extremely beautiful. And again, you'll note that bridge and island design with these scenic wooden bridges connecting to small garden islands, surrounded by shallow water, so you can, just wade through without fear of drowning. And truly, these palace grounds are quite splendid, and also extremely free. There's no price of entry to make this palace your own, other than, swimming out here and lowering the drawbridge to the mainland. So any player, whether you're just starting out or already an experienced adventurer, can go ahead and move right in. Now, taking a look at the map here, you can see this estate is just barely on the edge of the map north of Anvil, with several map markers leading to different parts of the palace and gardens for convenience. It's a bit of a commute to get to Anvil, but with the map markers, you can just, fast travel there right away. And anyway, finally moving on into the interior side of things here, we're going to be starting out in one of the bedrooms, which is this breathtakingly beautiful, sort of elven garden style master bedroom that uses a massive amount of flowers, cool lighting effects, unique furnishings, and even some aeolid architecture, crystals and waterfalls to create a really atmospheric and scenic bedroom that'll make you, just want to stay in bed all day, just so you can spend some more time enjoying just how beautiful it all is. And now I don't know if cozy is the right word to apply here, but this bedroom is certainly quite grand, and it's not the only room in this palace that has a bit of an epic touch to it. You also find a fairly sizable art gallery right in the middle of the palace, spanning pretty much the entire central tower, with a spiraling staircase in the middle that goes up to a rather large display hall on the second floor. And of course, as you might expect, there's a number of display cases in here that you can use to display your, various treasures, all contained in this large open-air hall that's, again, quite grand and even perhaps just a little bit imposing looking. And also included with this palace is a large pool and set of bathing chambers that are, again, like pretty much everything else in this mall, grand, epic, and just really beautiful looking. The design in here is exquisite, with a central pool surrounded by waterfalls and these breathtaking statues. You'll feel like you're in the heart of elegance itself when you go for a swim or take a bath in one of the hot tubs in the back here. There's just no beating the sheer opulence of this amazing looking palace. And of course, having said that, there's also a dining room, which is a bit on the smaller side of things, though there's more than enough seats to handle a fair number of guests, and a roaring fireplace, just a little bit of, warmth to the room. You'll also find a lot of unique artwork in this palace, and fair warning, while most of it is, fairly harmless, I did notice a little bit of nudity in a couple of the paintings here and there. But anyway, right off the side of the dining room, there's a bit of a bar and lounge type area where guests can go after they've had their meal. And upstairs you'll find another bedroom, which includes a couple of small display halls with a number of display cases for if you want to keep your, precious loot out of the public eye. And again, I have to point out some of the perhaps questionable paintings in here that probably won't be to everyone's liking, but for the most part they do avoid nudity, thankfully, and in any event, you can also see the rest of the bedroom here, and I'm not sure if it's actually supposed to be a master bedroom or a guest bedroom, but it can probably be used either way. It's certainly a bit more cozy and close-quartered than the rest of the palace. Now there's one last room that we'll be looking at here today, and we kind of skipped over this before, but this palace also comes with a small Japanese-style garden, including a guest house that contains a guest bedroom, another display hall, and this rather cozy and atmospheric lounge with a roaring fireplace, and a nicely decorated and finished set of chambers to relax in. And overall, this is a massive house mod with some truly beautiful and scenic gardens, not to mention an opulent and extremely detailed interior with some rather unique individual rooms. It does come with a number of features, including multiple map markers, several display halls, a number of bedrooms for yourself or companions, and also several towers from which to admire the view with. It does have a slight commute to Anvil, but overall, this is an incredibly scenic and lovely palace to call your own, and if you want a massive estate right on the sea, you should definitely, consider giving this mod a try. And next up we have our new house mod of the week, and this time around we have Silverbay Home by Liloliq. And this is a modest-sized Shaden Hall style manor located on a small vanilla island, just south of Anvil, right along the Obsidian Sea. Though it doesn't have a huge amount of exterior detailing, it's a rather nice and charming place, sitting right in the middle of a batch of trees, and with a short road leading up from the docks to the main house, which also includes a number of streetlights to light the path during the evening and nighttime hours. And you can see this home on the map here, and it's a fairly short commute to Anvil, though you'll have to go through some, rough patches of the countryside. And of course, it does also come with a map marker for quick and easy fast transportation. And inside, you'll find a fairly typical two-story Shaden Hall style abode with a modest foyer, a small lounge off to the side where a roaring fireplace is keeping the house warm. And off in the side room, you'll find a small dining area, which doesn't really have much, just a few chairs for guests and some food storage naturally. And going upstairs, the second floor is really quite small, and this really isn't a very large home. It's much more modest size than the palace we just looked at before, with a small study off the stairwell here, where you'll find a desk and some bookshelves, and there's also two bedrooms, including one that can be used by a guest or companion if you have one, and a master bedroom that's only barely larger than the guest room. And overall, this is a rather quaint and modest abode that's a rather charming, cozy size, perfect for those adventurers looking for a nice and small place to settle by the sea. There's not a whole lot of features here though. Besides a map marker and a companion bed, this house is fairly, bare bones in terms of features. It does have a modest commute to Anvil, and overall, this is an ideal home for those who want the exact opposite of our last house mod. Something quaint, cozy, and in a scenic location where one can just, go to relax without anything too unbalancing. Finally, we have our underrated house mod of the week, and this week we have SilentM's Icy Island Estate by SilentM and Mr. Sir. And this is a Cloud Road Temple style manor located right along the waterfront of the Imperial Island, right outside the Imperial City itself. And as such, it will probably run into a few conflicts with the large number of Imperial City expansion mods out there. But anyway, this manor is right on the water, including a pretty nice statue that makes for some rather scenic views looking out towards the Imperial City. And in addition, there's a couple of small gardens out front here, with a small viewing platform to the side where you can, see way out in the distance. And just checking out the map here, you can see this home does indeed have a map marker for fast travel, as well as a very short commute into the Imperial City, being basically a short walk outside the city gates. But going inside, you'll find a rather grand and stylish home to greet you, with a large entry hall that's capped off by a roaring fireplace, with a garden along one side of the hall as you first enter, and a seating area on the other side for guests to, sit at. And in addition to being the entry hall, this also doubles as a display hall, with areas towards the back that include weapon racks for, showing off your arms and armor. And these rooms can actually be closed off when you don't want company just wandering in. And there's also another sort of mixed display hall and library off to one wing of the house, with a number of display cases for you to use, as well as a desk to study at, and bookshelves that you can either use for storing books or, just display more stuff on if you so desire. And of course, this home also comes with a couple of bedrooms, including a guest bedroom, with 2 beds that companions, guests, or NPC staff that can use. And there's naturally also a master bedroom, which is pretty, standard for the Cloud Road Temple style of house mod, including some storage and a master bed. And right underneath the bedrooms, there's also a small magic lab, including an alchemy stand where you can brew potions without the hassle of picking up a bunch of equipment first, and you'll also find storage for ingredients, potions, and magical scrolls, complete with sorting features so you can, stay organized. And finally, there's also a basement, which includes a rather mixed purpose set of chambers, with a training area including practice dummies, a spell target, and also a smithy area for, repairing items and the like. Not to mention a small garden, just to, give the whole place a bit of life. And overall, this is a rather, sort of middle-of-the-road home that features a rather nice-looking abode along the Imperial Waterfront, complete with a conveniently short commute into the Imperial City, a map marker, companion beds, an alchemy lab, and a fair bit of display space. It isn't as large or, small as the other two house mods that we looked at, coming in at a sort of medium-sized manner. And if you're just looking for, something close to the Imperial City that doesn't go overboard, you may want to consider giving this mod a try. And anyway, that pretty much wraps up this week's episode of Oblivion House Mod Hunters. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.